All right, the story of Jerry and the dog. Now what I'm going to tell you has something to do with why sometimes it's necessary to go a long distance out of the way in order to come back a short distance correctly. At least I think it has something to do with that. I'm not sure. But it's why I went to the city and why I walked northernly rather, until I came here. All right. The dog, I think I told you, is a black monster of a beast with an oversized head and tiny, tiny ears and eyes, bloodshot, infected maybe, and ribs you can see through the skin. The dog is black, all black except for the bloodshot eyes and, yes, an open sore on his right front paw, and that's right too. This poor creature, and I do believe it's an old animal, certainly a misused one, almost always has an erection of sorts, and that's red too. And what else? Yes, there's a grayish yellow white color too when he bares his fangs, like this, which is what he did to me the first day I met him, the day I moved in. That dog worried me the day I met him. Now, animals don't take to me like St. Francis had birds hanging off him. But what I mean is, animals are indifferent to me, like people. Most of them. But this dog wasn't indifferent. From the very first day I met him, he tried to get at me, get at my pants. Not that he was rabid, you know, he was a sort of a stumbly dog. But it wasn't half-assed either. He was just a good, stumbly dog. He even got my pant leg too once. You can see here where it's mended. But that was the second day and I shook free and managed to get up into my room. Now this went on for about a week. Whenever I came in, but never when I went out. It's funny. Or it was funny. I could pack up and move out in the street for all the dog cared. After a while though, one time when he chased me up the stairs, I thought about it and I made up my mind what I had to do. I decided I'd try to kill the dog with kindness, and if that didn't work, I'd just kill him. Oh, don't react, Peter, just listen. So the next day I went out and I bought a bag of hamburger, medium rare, no ketchup, no onion. And on the way home, I threw the rolls away on the street. When I got to the entryway, the dog was there waiting for me, it figured. I half opened the door and walked in very cautiously. So I opened up the bag of hamburger and I placed it about 12 feet in front of the snarling beast. He stopped and started to smell and then moved slowly, then faster, until he got to the meat. He stopped and he looked at me. I smiled very tentatively, you understand. Then he went back down to the meat and he smelled, he sniffed some more, then rah! Like that. He tore into it. It was as if he hadn't eaten anything in his life except like garbage, which very well might have been the case. I don't think the landlady ever ate anything but garbage. He ate all the meat, almost all in one bite, and he made sounds in his throat like a woman. After he finished the meat, the hamburger, he tried to eat the paper too. He sat down and smiled. At least, I think he smiled. I don't know. I know cats do. It was a very gratifying few moments. Then bam! He made for me and I managed to just get away and get upstairs. When I got in my room, I laid down in the bed and started to think about the dog. I mean, I was offended. I was mad. It was 6 perfectly good hamburgers with not enough pork to make them disgusting. I mean, I was offended. But after a while, I thought about it and I decided I'd give it a try for a few more days. I mean, if you think about it, the dog had what amounted towards an antipathy towards me. And I wondered if I might overcome that antipathy. So I tried it, and for the next 5 days, always the same result. Snarl, stop, smell, move, faster, faster, stop, stare, gobble, brrr, smile, snarl, bam. By this time, Columbus Avenue was strewn with hamburger rolls, and I was less offended than disgusted. So I decided to kill the dog. Oh, don't overreact, Peter. I didn't succeed. On the day of the attempted murder, I bought 1 hamburger and what I thought was a murderous portion of rat poison. On the way back to the rooming house, I stopped, threw the roll away. When I talked to the guy, I asked him. All I wanted was the meat. I expected some reaction like, "We don't sell no hamburgers without the rolls," or "What are you gonna do? You gonna eat it with your hands?" But he smiled benignly, wrapped it in wax paper, and said, "A bite for your pussycat." I wanted to say no. It's part of a plan to poison a dog I know. But you can't say a dog I know without sounding funny. So I said, a little too loud, I'm afraid, and a little too formally, "Yes, a bite for my pussycat." People looked up. That always happens when I try to simplify things. People look up. But that's neither hither nor thither. On the way back to the rooming house, I needed the dough, or needed the meat and the poison in between my hands. When I got to the rooming house, the dog was there waiting for me, waiting to take the offering. Poor bastard. He never realized that the time he took to smile before he made for me gave me more than enough time to get away. But there he was, malevolence with an erection. So I put down the poison penny, I put it down in front of him, and he made his way towards it and gobbled it up and sat down and smiled, which almost made me sick. Then bam, as usual, he made for me, and as usual, I got away. And so it came to pass, the beast became deathly ill. All I know because he stopped attending to me and because the landlady had sobered up. She stopped me in the hall on the evening of the attempted murder and confided in me that God had struck her puppy dog a surely fatal blow. Her bewildered lust was gone, and her eyes were wide open for the first time, like the dog's eyes. She snivelled and implored that I pray for her dog. I wanted to tell her, but madam, I have myself to pray for, and the colored queen, and the Puerto Rican family, and the person I don't know, and all the people in all the rooming houses everywhere. And besides, madam, I don't understand how to pray. But, to simplify things, I told her I would pray. She looked up. She called me a liar and said I probably wanted the dog to die. I told her, and there was so much truth here, Peter, I told her I didn't want the dog to die. And not because I poisoned him. To be truthful, I wanted the dog to live so I could see what might come of our new relationship. You must believe me, Peter, that sort of thing is important. You must believe me, it is important. We must know the effects of our actions.